So in the audio version, I trim all this out. This is only for the live stream people who are here right at 7.
Oh, it's a fantastic little addition. You get to hear the goofballishness.
Yeah, it's the sneak peek. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Take One Talk. I'm your host, Christian Aris, and I am joined today by...
Aaron Kelly Noble.
So many names. So, what is Take One Talk and who is Take One? Take One is our supreme eldritch being. And by that I mean improv. So Take One is a group of improvisers and professional actors who do improv comedy shows all over the Southwest U.S. I mean, all over the country, really. We're not contained to the Southwest. And we also are based out of Dallas, and we do a lot of shows in Dallas, and festivals and fairs, and anything that we can get our grubby little hands on. So that's us. And this podcast is all about Take One and our conversations that we have. So strap in, hang out, and love me.
As you can see, as we are actors, we all require immense validation.
It's true. Also, I have 2 different screens that have me on them, and that's how I like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you ever have this happen where it's like in self-tapes or just in like FaceTime conversations in general?
Oh, I just stare at myself.
You just stare at yourself the entire time.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Oh, yeah.
It's just because we're so beautiful.
I can't tear my eyes off of myself. No, it does feel really, really weird. I actually was talking to my therapist about it because we do our therapy on, not Zoom, but it's whatever. Mm-hmm. It's an online thing. And I told her, I was like, I don't really look at you when I do this. And she was like, that's fine. That's perfectly normal. But like also too, another thing I do, and this is just an actor thing, when I talk to her, I actually look at the camera. I don't look at the screen. I look at the camera, and there'll be times where I'm just on the phone, and I'm in my booth, and they can't see me because I'm on the phone, and I'll be talking into the camera.
That's.
And I feel ridiculous.
That's a little weird, to be honest.
Okay.
I think it is. Maybe it's just because I have a really hard time looking into the camera.
Well, I mean, you're an actual film actor, though.
Oh, I'm not. I'm a theater actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you've done films.
I've done film before.
And, like, that's a big taboo. You don't look in the camera.
Oh, yeah. No, you do not want to look in the camera whatsoever. But it's just very uncomfortable, but I'm doing so good right now.
You're doing amazing.
I know. I'm very proud of myself.
I'm always proud of you. I know I've gotten used to it because I teach a lot. I teach online sometimes. Mm-hmm. And when I do that, I feel like, I can do the effect of eye contact by looking in the camera.
Yes, you can do the effect.
Yeah. So they think I'm looking at them. Or it looks like I'm looking at them and connecting with them as a real person. But I'm not. I'm a robot. And I look into the lens.
That's what happens on Zoom. That's how teachers kept their kiddos engaged, staring directly at the camera so you feel like you can actually be seen. So they will behave.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Also, too, for the audio listeners, obviously everybody who's watching the video can see, you might be getting some chewing ASMR. We are joined by Atosh.
A Toshi.
And he is destroying his octopus.
Yes.
And that's not a euphemism. He's got a toy octopus.
Yes. Well, he is Japanese. Therefore, they're very fond of fish and squid and octopuses and such.
I will not make any racial generalizations, as you have.
Listen! Am I wrong that it is common in their food? Seafood is very common.
I have
in their dishes.
I have no comments.
It's not wrong if it's a fact. If it is a cultural normality to have such things in a like I would say, Texans in particular are very fond of their meat selections. Why? Because there is a lot of meat in like everything that they make in Texas. There's it's not insensitive because it is a fact.
Okay. Look, I could make this way worse.
Why are you trying to make me feel anxious on my first time on the podcast?
It's very fun.
Oh God! Can you imagine if just like less than 10 minutes in, canceled. Aaron's canceled. Aaron's canceled. Wow. Hi, please don't cancel me because I said that a tiny little Shiba Inu likes octopus.
Look, you're fine. No one's listening. This is just for us. So Erin is our newest member of Take One. Also has the shortest membership because now she's been canceled. And we can't have a canceled member of Take One.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's been really fun, guys.
This has been this has been my Dateline moment where I bring you on and I expose you.
Ooh.
And then in editing I make you sound like a monster. I'm just kidding. There's no editing that's done. All I do is I trim the beginning and the end.
So that they can't hear me singing and going doo-doo. So now you got the sneak preview that the video people did, audio people.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, Erin.
Yes.
I mentioned before that you do film. You mentioned you do theater. So, why act? Why actor?
Why actor? Well, let's just say I feel like every actor has that thing where ever since their childhood, they have just been a flat out attention whore. And that was certainly me in childhood. We used to have all sorts of home videos, and my elder sister, Megan, who is 4 years older than me, would always like get up in front of the camera when it was on the baby, me, and like be like, no, look at this, look at this, look at this. And then suddenly that stopped happening. She told me one day that it was because she realized she couldn't compete.
Wow, with the baby.
With the baby. Just because I was the kid constantly standing up on a chair with my arms up in the air like, yada-da.
I thought it was because your parents loved you more.
Well, I like to say that the reason people have multiple children is because they're trying to get it right. And then they stop.
No, yeah.
When they've got, there are only two of us, so I like to see that.
Oh, yeah, so there's 4 in my family. I'm the youngest.
There you go. Perfect child.
I get it.
Yes. But then acting, I tried a lot of different things, like all of the extracurriculars. I did a lot of sports when I was younger, and then I started doing darts. I mean, we did have a dartboard in my childhood, but I never was
lacrosse
particularly good at it. No, I was
polo.
My dear, I was hyperbolizing when I said I did everything.
You didn't say everything. You said a lot.
I said a lot. I played, soccer, volleyball, softball, basketball. Sorry, Toast.
I know.
I did Irish step dancing, tap, ballet, jazz, hip hop. I did, art camp and tennis camp, and my mom tried to get us into rodeos, and that didn't necessarily. My sister and I, unfortunately, didn't become horse, like, full-on rodeo kids like my mom would have liked. But I tried it all, and then in middle school, I had
All of this was in elementary?
This was in elementary and middle school.
Okay, because I was like, that's a full life already.
Oh yeah, no, I was busy. I was a busy kid, and
in elementary school, I was playing Pokemon and playing video games, and that's it.
Oh, Mom was not about video games.
Okay.
We got our first video games, when I was, I think, in 5th grade, because we were moving, and my mom dug up the original Nintendos that her and my dad had when they were having my sister in the hospital. So it was like the brick black and white Nintendos. And that was my first exposure to video games.
Wow.
Yes.
I was alive when that was, the newfangled thing.
It was not by the time we got it.
It was already an antique by the time you were born.
It was. So I think not by the time I was born, but by the time I finally found it.
Got you.
Yep.
Well, by that point, the PS5 was already out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The tippity-tappy ones,
Are you describing an iPad?
No, the Nintendo, the one where it first started drawing.
Yeah, you definitely don't play video games. Yeah.
I forgot.
It's okay. The DS.
DS, yes. I bought myself one of those in college and felt incredibly guilty for it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're a silly girl. But acting.
Yeah.
I had a drama teacher that encouraged me to audition for the local theater in Norman, Oklahoma. Shout out to the Sooner Theater. And I just realized, this is what I'm actually good at.
Okay.
Yes. So I kind of devoted all my stuff to that. In high school, I did competitive acting and speech, that kind of stuff. And then I went to college, to the State University of New York, Purchase College Conservatory of Theater Arts, BFA acting program.
You can't see this in the audio version, but that was all very genuine and sincere bragging.
I mean, it is one of the finest schools in the country, but no one in the Midwest knows what it is.
Right.
But the people in New York sure do.
Oh, I'm
people
sure.
in LA sure do.
I'm sure.
I will say it was the best education I could possibly have, but boy, oh boy, drama school trauma is so real.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think it's really interesting because, you're being a part of Take One. Obviously, we are very improv focused. And so your history of improv isn't as extensive, but your acting base is so strong that you're able to kind of pick up on things and just run with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Actually, yes. My improv training is limited to a year's worth in college.
Yeah.
And then what I found in Dallas when I moved to Dallas was immersive theater. And the first immersive theater show that I was in, it was entirely unscripted.
Oh.
And so they literally were like, hey, here's a character dossier with a name, a location, and about 3 lines worth of information. Go ahead and make up the rest.
Interesting.
And so my job was to literally walk around this house and perform in character the entire night and improv with the humans, with the muggles.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what we did at the Ren Fair a few weeks ago, where we got an outline of, hey, this is the storyline, and go. And so, and it's funny because I read that the night before it started. Oh, yeah. And so I was learning about things about the fair on the way there, and then I got there, I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to make it up, and then I think what I think is so lovely about everyone on Take One, and I've said this before because I do absolutely love immersive theater, and it is becoming more of a thing here in Dallas, is that everyone on Take One would transfer into immersive so well, simply because so much of it is unscripted or improvised or reacting off of the questions and things that you're asked throughout. But we're all storytellers.
Yeah.
It's not just improvisation where you're making it up on the spot. Like, everyone on this team knows how to tell a good story.
Yeah.
And that is where my improv experience comes from. Is more from this improvisational storytelling aspect. So I will be honest, I'm still learning the basics of improv here on Take One, and I'm very, very grateful that these people are very patient with me.
No, I mean, like, when we, because Aaron came to our open auditions, and we had a meeting, like, everybody on the team had a meeting about, like, all right, cool, you know, who did you like, who didn't you like? And I said, not Aaron, get her out. No, that's not true. We liked Aaron for a multitude of reasons, you know, and when we want to recruit people, it isn't necessarily like, oh, they're the best improviser, you know. It's not necessarily about that. It can be about potential. It can be about team dynamics, and we just thought you were a great fit. And also, too, you have demonstrated the ability that you want to and can learn, like, the craft, right? Like, you've gone to school for acting and all that stuff, like, and you are hungry. You're constantly pursuing your career, and, like, that's what we need. You know, we need real pros. So that's why we keep you around, despite all of the racism.
Stop! Oh my god!
Also, I love to tease Aaron. It's very, very fun.
Everyone does. If we ever have a day where, like, Corey and I are on the show at the same time, Corey loves to, like, be mean to me. In a loving way. I understand. It's all with love.
I love it because when you're around, Corey stops teasing me. And he shifts it to you. So then I jump in too because I'm just like, yay, it's not me.
Let's meet up on someone else this time.
It's very much like, I feel like the middle child all of a sudden. Like, Corey's the big brother. I get picked on and you're born. And we're just like, oh yeah, the youngest.
Hit this one, yeah. What is it? Chanel. So, you had Chanel on the last episode?
Chanel and Kimber, yeah.
Yes, Chanel got picked on quite a bit for a while there.
Yeah, it's true.
And then she was just more than happy when it got switched over to me. And
well, there was one rehearsal where we were doing this exercise. We were all describing. We were doing like a tarot card thing. Mm-hmm. And whenever I don't remember exactly how the game works. This was months
I remember how it worked. Okay, so the game is super duper fun. It's like oracle cards, or tarot cards, but you are the one describing the tarot cards. So you stand in a circle. The oracle stands in front of someone. That person gives them a card, and they usually base it off of a theme of some sort.
Yeah, we got genres.
We did genre. I think it was like gothic pie. It was pie.
We had pie. We had like seasons. We had celebrities. We had a bunch of stuff, and then depending on what the prompt they would give you, we would then read them their fortune. And it just so happened that it was by pure coincidence. All of Chanel's tarot card, all of her fortunes were, you're sad. And like everything's
Things are going bad for you.
Yeah. And she pointed it out. And so I hadn't gone yet. So I jumped in the circle so fast. All I wanted to do was get to Chanel and tell her how sad her life was and just like double down on it. And it was so funny.
It was very funny. And then we did another game which kind of turned out that way, and that was just a couple weeks ago, and it was where all of us stood in a line and then someone goes and stands in front of the person again, and
I missed that rehearsal.
Oh my god, that one was where they got me.
Yeah.
And you just say a sentence of fact, and then the other person has to like start improvising a scene between the two of you off of it.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, can just a simple statement of fact really dig into like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah, I know. I missed that one, unfortunately. So I do have a question from the chat.
From the chat?
Yeah, for you, Aaron. First of all, Isaac says that you are an amazing performer. So that's very nice. But then he asks, what is your dream role, if you have one?
Oh, my dream role. I will say, because everyone in the theater community has been talking about Sweeney Todd lately, I have opinions about the most recent casting of Sutton Foster and Aaron Tveit, but this is an improv podcast, not a theater podcast. But I will say, one of improv is theater. But one of my dream roles is definitely Mrs. Lovett. Simply because I love the crazy bitches. And I think she's such a fantastic character, for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
Because she's insane and far more devious than people give her credit for, and a little goofy and a little charactery. And I think she gives, actors the permission, like the chance, not permission, but the opportunity to really step outside of the traditional Broadway aesthetic of like, I'm a triple threat and I'm a little twig of a thing and I'm so pretty and I play a 20-year-old dating the very, very handsome man. Because she's just crazy and fun and charactery and evil.
Aaron's dream role is to be evil.
Honestly, here's the thing about me, and this has been forever in my acting career, is that I have been cast, because I'm 5'10", I'm taller than nearly everyone growing up. I would always get cast as the moms or the character roles. And so I've been playing 40 years old since 8th grade. And when it came...
Let me do some real quick math here. I think in the 8th grade, you're younger than 40.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but I've been playing it since I was...
Right now, you are not quite 40.
No,
Okay.
I'm 25.
Oh, I mean, you're basically 40.
I mean,
just give up.
No, that was the last role not the last role that I played. But the role before that, I was a sexy swinger couple in their 40s, from like the 1950s.
Yeah.
Both.
It was very funny. I saw like little like pictures and little clips. It was very, very funny.
Goofy. Was called Bingo Jamboree, a musical with balls. We're trying to sell it and make it a cult thing. But
Make it a cult!
Make it a cult! That would be cute.
But no, like I'm with you though. I think villains are really fun to play.
Oh yeah.
I am doing, you know what a machinima is? Machinima?
No.
It's okay. It's a video game thing, sort
Okay.
of. So people will take footage, it's basically like animation for people who can't necessarily animate. Mm-hmm. So it's actually really crazy what they can do. And people will act inside of a video game. Mm-hmm. So this one, for instance, is Halo 3 or 4.
Is this like the mocap stuff?
Sort of.
Okay.
So they use controllers and they will script it out and they'll have choreography and they will film an interaction with the video game characters, and then in post, so the one that I'm doing, they add in a lot of like explosions and really cool music, and they're actually able to control the camera to swing around and stuff, and then they'll have voice actors come over the top of it and give it, the dialogue.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know if they do prelay or post. I'm not sure how that process goes. But it's really cool. I mean, there are some limitations. So like in Halo, they always have a gun in their hand. Mm-hmm. So you have this understanding, if they have a pistol, that means that they're not holding anything. But if they have like a rifle, that means that they're armed. It's a little goofy, but it was one of the first things I was ever cast in. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I went pro and started doing like professional productions and things like that, the director of this show asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to stay on? Because I'm the villain. And I was like, yeah. Like, this is the only villain I've gotten to play.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. I've played another villain before. But, like, he's like, yeah, but I just, this is such a small thing. I was like, I'm having fun. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, well, I can raise your rate. I was like, I'm not going to raise my rate. Like...
Raise the rate? Why are you not taking more money?
Because we agreed to a rate when I first signed on. And I don't want to be like I'm important, I'm a pro now, so you need to pay me more or I walk. Like, just to me, it, like, business-wise, it doesn't make sense to hold him ransom to something that we agreed on.
He offered.
He did. I'm just trying to be a...
I understand. Like, I understand.
And also, to be honest, he is finding any excuse to give me a little bits more money all the time. So, nice. Like, I don't want to use my position of the little influence to, like... Because, like, it's such a small budget. Like, the dude, he does... Visually speaking, the whole reason I auditioned for the project is this guy's got a really cinematic eye. Thank you. I almost said cinegraphic. Cinematic eye. It's like, it's really beautiful for the limitations that he has.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe it is silly, but the difference between like 10 extra bucks or whatever,
that's true.
Doesn't really matter.
That's true. I am...
But anyways, the villain's fun. I love it. He's so fun.
I am waiting for that for something at Crunchyroll. So I'm a voice actor as well.
She does it all, folks.
I try. That is how you're able to pay your bills. Mm-hmm. But
Wait, do you want to pay your bills and you're doing improv?
Listen, we aren't paying all our bills with acting, but we're working on it.
We're working on it.
And I feel like improv is something to do. Like, obviously, it's not going to pay your bills, but it's because it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's good training.
Yeah.
But not, I've played, like, military chicks and moms, and I'm like, you give me something crazy.
Yeah, no, I was given one villain who was, like, immediately... for all intents and purposes, he's dead. Like, he's not coming back to the show. But, like, he was alive. So, who knows?
He was?
Yeah, he was like, I don't know, unless he died later from his wounds. But no, that was a really fun session. I was just unhinged.
Oh yeah, no, I'm ready to be let off the leash, because if anyone saw me in like my comedic stuff or my immersive stuff, they would be like, "Oh, she's nuts."
Yeah.
Yeah, so much fun.
But I mean, like, so the funny thing, like, and this is something that when I first joined Take One, I didn't realize that they toured and did conventions and stuff. I had no idea. The whole reason I joined is because I saw a Take One show at Stomping Ground, and I was just like, because before that, I didn't have any intention of becoming an improviser. I was just trying to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
And then I watched Kayla on stage, and I was just like, uh-oh, I think I want to be an improviser, and I want to perform at that level.
Yep.
And that was it.
Like, I if you have seen a Take One show and you have had the privilege of seeing Kayla Parker perform, that girl, lady, woman is one of the funniest human beings I think I have ever seen in my entire life.
She's a very funny lady woman girl.
Girl, lady woman.
Sure.
Girl, lady woman. What was it we said today? I've always thought of you as a beautiful... What is it? Lady woman? I think it was lady woman. It was
lady woman.
I always thought of you as a beautiful lady woman, not a Sasquatch. That makes no context.
There is zero context for that.
Zero context.
It's very funny.
Rehearsal, inside joke.
Rehearsal today was really fun.
Oh, it was so good. It was very, very fun. Unfortunately, as I think Corey said, one of the funniest Funny Femmes rehearsals, performances that no one will ever see.
Yeah. Well, so real quick for context, Funny Femmes is a sister group to Take One. It features all of the female presenting members of Take One to do a murder mystery show. It's very fun. I love the opportunities when I have them to be a part of it. So in rehearsals, I get to be a part of it. And then sometimes if someone isn't feeling well and they can't make it, I will jump in.
You'll play the victim so that we can kill the man.
You say that, but in a show, in an actual on-stage show, I've never played the victim. No, that's not true.
What?
That's not true. I lied. I'm a liar.
No, you've played the victim.
I have. I lied.
Corey's played the victim I thought we always killed the men.
Sure. So on paper, that's true, but I've actually played the detective more than I've played the victim.
Oh, the men either play the detective or the dead.
So when I play detective, it's been up to chance. So the only time I played the victim is when it was pre-assigned, when Danny said on stage, okay, Christian is our man, he is going to be the victim.
He's going to be dead.
But if I pull it from the hat, I always get detective.
What was the theme for yours? I was there for that one.
Which one?
For the one where you died.
Where I was the victim?
Where we killed you.
What was the genre? I remember I was an Italian, hard boy.
Oh, yes, I remember this. You were literally called something boy.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was the first time. I think it was my first Funny Femmes show.
Okay.
Because I think I was detective too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really fun noir scene.
It was noir, I think.
Yeah. Corey, when he died, it was underwater themed.
I missed that one, yeah.
Oh, it was a good one because his bartender scene, we always have a bartender scene where the detectives come in and they're trying to figure out who did the killing. And he was in the background the entire time doing an underwater bar scene as Captain Jack Sparrow. And the liquid kept floating out of the cups. So he was like, it was fantastic.
Yeah, so I remember the very first show I did, Corey and I both pulled detective. I pulled detective 1, he pulled detective 2. Ooh. And it was a monster theme genre. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was like monsters. But I pulled detective 1. I had attended one rehearsal with Funny Femmes, and all I did was the suspect. Yeah. That was it.
Detective's hard.
But I knew nothing about the format. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, Corey helped create the format with Danny. He knows it. And so he comes out and he starts talking to me, raising my status. I lowered my status to the floor. I hunched over and I started calling him master. And he was just like, okay, well, I can't go lower than that. And so I made him become Detective 1 to do it. And I found out quickly he didn't know the format as well as I thought he did. And then, so before you joined, we had a guy named Jacob, very, very, very strong improviser. He knew the format less than I did. He was the victim. So there were points where we were doing the show and we'll have these flashback scenes where the victim comes out on stage and they'll do when I first met them, this is what happened. Last time I saw them, this is what happened. And so you have to be listening as the victim to know when to come out on stage to reenact the flashbacks. Jacob just let all of these cues go. So Danny was like, and then he walked out and said things to me, but I'll get to it in a second. And because he just kept missing all the cues.
No, what a nightmare.
Yeah, so it was a Funny Femme show, but half of us were men.
Fantastic.
It was so funny.
Listen, are you feeling like one of the girls today? That's what I always like to think.
I feel like one of the girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally.
I feel like a girl these days can be totally gender neutral, where it's like, girl.
Oh,
girl. Yeah. If you feeling like a girl today, be one of the femmes.
So this is a weird side thing, but I love the whole gender fluidity thing. Oh, yeah. Because growing up, I always felt super feminine, and I hated it, right? Because I grew up in the 90s, and if you're a boy and you're feminine, you're gay. So people thought I was gay for until I was in high school and I finally got a girlfriend. And it's something I still struggle with, but discovering the idea of you can be a guy and be feminine. So I still identify as a man, but I am and it's a work in progress, but I'm trying to work on accepting, like, yeah, I'm just feminine.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, I don't do sports and cars and like there are things where Corey's like, you know, he's pretty manly. He's like, I'm gonna smoke a cigar and talk about
World
UFC.
War I.
Yeah, and I'm just like I literally had a guy ask me that stupid question that's online, like, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And I'm like, I don't know. Like when, like if I'm watching a documentary, I think about it, but like other than that, I never think about it.
Oh, sweet baby. I don't think about the Roman Empire either.
Yeah, it's just, it's a weird thing. So another quick question. What has been your experience since... How are you liking Take One? This is not like a test. If you hate it, that's fine.
I'm going to be honest. It has been a really hard time being with all of these people. It's just so many strong I am kidding entirely. I am so in love with this group. Like, I so look forward to going to rehearsal every Sunday. It's one of the highlights of my week. When I was away on tour for a month, I was sad because it would come to Sunday and that would be our one day off, and I would just be like, something's missing from my life. And I'm absolutely astonished by Take One itself, because the thing about Take One that I absolutely adore is that it's not just like, yes, these are people I perform with from time to time. This is like a friend group. Everyone's friends. We like hanging out with each other, which I think is really, really beautiful. And I think that was one of the things that I was nervous about coming into Take One, is that I'm like, well, everyone's already super duper close friends.
Yeah, no, I get
like,
that. Yeah.
That's everyone's super close. And I just, like, didn't feel like it ever skipped a beat. I felt welcome, and like everyone's been so nice and supportive, because I still, like, it even happened today. Like, I struggle in rehearsal sometimes because I'm like, I don't have the improvisational training, specific improv training that all the rest of these people do, and so I'm still learning.
No, I mean, I get that. Like, so this in November is my 2-year like Take One anniversary, right? And but even then, like today, I had moments where I struggled. Like, it's just a thing. Yeah. But I will say, my experience of joining Take One is very similar. I was like, oh my gosh, they're all such good friends. Yeah. Because I was still trying to find my place in the acting community. Like, I wasn't a pro. I was... I had just turned pro. I had just turned pro, but I was still, like, just really shy and nervous. Yeah. I had done, like, almost a year of improv training, and I felt very out of my depth. And I actually had kind of bounced from another actor group where I didn't feel as welcome. And so, and I bounced to Take One. I was like, I really hope this doesn't happen again. Yeah. And it was instant. I was like, oh, I feel welcome. And I'll say too, from my observations, I feel like you did a really good job of like sprouting like in the group. You know what I mean? Like, you joined, and I never felt like it was awkward. It felt like you belonged. Like, just the way that you carry yourself, and as you join the group, it was just like, oh yeah, no, Erin belongs here.
Yeah, I felt that exact same way, and I'm like, wow, how lovely.
Yeah.
It was I love Take One. I love everything about it. I look forward to the shows. I look forward to rehearsals. I look forward to convention appearances. I think it's one of the best things that's happened to me since I came to Dallas.
Yeah. So I'm glad for that.
So obviously I hate everyone.
No, everyone's terrible. One of my favorite things that's happened with Erin since she joined was your second con ever. We went to Houston, and the shows were whatever. Like, the shows were rough. Yeah. But at the end of the weekend, Erin left with like 3 new best friends. Everybody's like exchanging gifts and phone numbers, and like they're all like, "Oh my God, I love you!" And I'm just like, I don't know how you did. It took me a year and a half to become friends with anybody on the con scene, and you're like, second show, we're already besties. It's an amazing ability.
it's very much, I'm gonna be honest, a hit or miss thing.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with anxiety. I
don't know anything about that.
It's absolutely suffocating. And I found the thing with me is that if I go in wanting people to like me super bad, it goes so wrong.
It's terrible. Yeah.
It goes so wrong because I'm so busy overthinking that it is impossible to be like normal. But I find when I walk in and I'm just like, happy to be here. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
It's the easiest to get to know people. And I think my main thing is that it's just like people, it's nice to get to know people because it makes them feel good about themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like so one of the things I struggle with in my anxiety, when I'm anxious, I go really quiet. And so when I am trying to meet people, it takes me a long time to warm up, to feel comfortable to actually talk. And so that's why, like, in Take One, I like it with the conventions because I'm surrounded by people who I know have my back.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to come out of my shell, but I'm still much more reserved. And so I watch you and I do feel that tinge of jealousy. I'm like, man, like, she's just so likable and I hate it.
Oh, honey. I appreciate that. And I agree sometimes, but then there are other times where it's such a mess. There are plenty of people in this world who hate me.
I understand that not everybody's going to like us as people.
Well, the thing that I have found... Yes, continue.
No, that was it. That was it. You're more excited than I am.
The thing that I have found in particular is that since I have moved to Dallas, I have found my people.
Sure, yeah.
In Take One, in the improv community, in the immersive community here, in voiceover. It's just one of those things where I walk in, I talk to these people, and they are my brand of weird. Which is something that was very hard and very difficult when I was in college at New York.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a massive culture shock.
Yeah.
Like, massive culture shock. And everyone came from different places, and it was just one of those things where sometimes it was really hard to connect.
Yeah.
But because they weren't my brand of weird.
Yeah.
But here it's like I feel not judged, which makes me very comfortable.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Oh, such a big difference.
Well, I will have those moments every so often with Take One. So we were driving to Amarillo a few weeks ago, and we were playing different games or whatever. Some of them actually were around Spotify. But we got to this point where we're like, all right, cool. Let's just take turns. Every song, we'll pick out a different song or whatever. But like, let's pick out songs that are ones that we haven't thought about in a really long time. Danny picked, I can't remember what the song's called, but it was from, I think it was Pokemon 2000. There's the intro animation where Pikachu and all the Pokemon go on like a little mini vacation. I don't know if you ever watched that one.
No.
It's okay.
I was not a Pokemon kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it was before your time. So, like, I heard that song and I was like, oh, I remember this song. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I watched the crap out of that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, these are my people. And I'll have those moments every so often.
Oh, yeah. No, one of my favorite things that has happened so many times since I've been in Dallas with like various friend groups is I will do something that I immediately spikes my anxiety because I'm like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I did a weird thing.
Yeah.
And it will literally freeze me. And my people will just look at me and be like, it's okay. Like, we still love you.
I had one of those at the studio last week. And unfortunately and unfortunately for me, Corey was I was doing Walla and he was there. And this particular Walla group, it was all like like Legends. It's actually one of the most highbrow groups I've ever been a part of to do Walla.
Really?
Yeah, so like I had like multiple leads. I had a guy who's been there for decades. Like it was like, oh, this is really cool.
Oh, cool.
And also too, we work with Mike, who is a improviser.
McFarland.
So he's a big improviser, and then Corey's an improviser. The guy who's been there for decades, he's really funny. And so I'm like, oh, cool, jokes. And then I crossed a line on accident that I wouldn't cross unless I was comfortable with people. And I stopped. And then Corey, being Corey, needled it. And so I start to feel awkward, and I start trying to backpedal, but Corey's not letting me. But it made it like, oh, this is funny.
Yeah.
We're just two friends hanging out.
This is normal.
But it was still like, oh, come on, man, just let me out of this, bro. And he's like, nope, I'm not gonna, because I'm a comedian and I can't let it go.
No, there's a game here. There's a bear to poke.
Yeah. Speaking of games.
Yes.
Because this conversation's been so lovely, but I want to move on to the segments section.
Of course.
Eventually, we're gonna have a song. This is the segments. I'm going to take out your little doo-doo-doos, and I'm gonna make it into a song.
Oh my god,
that we're gonna use for our segment.
That would be fantastic. Perfect. Whoa.
Do. Okay.
I know, Tosha.
Satoshi loves it.
Do you?
He does.
Oh, sweet boy.
I hate you. So
Canceled. How can you say this face?
Yes,
this
you put your fingers right in his mouth.
Well, I was trying to turn his face to the camera.
No, he doesn't.
It's not gonna work. I'm sorry.
No, Toshi knows I love him, but I do say I hate him to keep his ego in check.
Listen, I understand that you want to be the favorite child when
it
comes to Corey and Danny.
I do.
But I think the spot's taken, and it's not gonna.
No way.
It's not gonna change.
No, me and Toshi are gonna fight to the death for mom and dad's affection. So this is a game that I've been playing for the last few weeks. It's been really, really fun for me. I've just been calling it Truth or Lie, where each of us are going to make a statement, and the other person has to figure out whether it's true or not. And the statement's going to be about us personally. Okay? I will go first, so you can have time to think about.
Thank you.
Okay. So my statement is I once had a fly get trapped in my ear canal.
Oh my god, the exact same thing happened to me. Except it may or may not have been a dream. So I can ask questions.
That also sounds like may or may not be true. So do you not know if it actually happened?
I'm not sure, because I have a very clear memory of it, of going specifically to the pediatrician, because I was a child when this happened. Oh. But I have a very clear memory of tweezers going into my ear and pulling out this giant fly that was just covered in earwax. But whenever I asked my mom about it, she's like, that never happened. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because very clearly this happened. It's in my brain.
Interessante.
Yes.
That's not quite what happened to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how old were you?
I was in my 20s.
In your 20s?
Yeah, like 25, 26.
What time of day?
Time of day? I don't know.
When did you realize said fly was in your ear?
It was very fast. It was very immediate. Like I was sitting playing games. And so let's say like late afternoon, early evening, something like that. And I'm playing games and there's a fly, buzzing the tower. And then all of a sudden it just went right in my ear. And there's no point of discovery. It just happened immediately. Tried to get it out, couldn't. And yeah, I must have, when I was trying to get it out, I think pushed it in deeper because I couldn't. Yeah. And then when trying to get my family to look at it, they couldn't see it. And it's just in my ear. I can hear it and feel it. It was awful.
What was the sensation? Describe the sensation.
Oh, that's a really interesting question. Like when you go swimming and you get water in your ear, there's that pressure.
Yes.
And it's also like things are muffled.
Yes.
Okay, but also too, have you ever put your ear on something that's vibrating? And so like the vibrations are super duper loud and yeah. So imagine those two things together. So all you can hear is, I guess not buzzing, but like it was still moving in there. And so I could hear it like amplified, trapped, lodged in my ear, but everything else outside of it was muffled, but I still felt that pressure. It was like a pseudo earache too, because it felt horrible.
Ooh, yeah, I can imagine that feeling.
Yeah.
Like, ooh. I just based on that description, I'm gonna say it's true.
No further questions? You
Um,
don't have to. You can stick to your guns.
is there anything else you want to tell me about it?
I mean, no.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I can tell you about how they got it out.
How did they get it out? That's a great
yeah,
question.
I went to the ER because I didn't want to wait. Like, oh, I'm going to make an appointment. No.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the ER and they tried tweezers and stuff, couldn't get it. In fact, the nurse thought I was making it up. She's like, I can't see anything. Like, there's nothing in there. It's like, trust me, it's in there. Doctor couldn't see anything, but he was like, whatever. And no, he did see it, but he knew he couldn't get it with tweezers, so he ended up getting like a suction, like one of those like things they would use like in like dentist or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that, sucked it out. Wow. So ever since then,
was the fly dead by then?
I was killed in the process. Yeah. Yeah. Ever since then, if there's a fly that buzzes around, I actually have earplugs in my bag. So if there's ever like things that fly around, I just pop them in really fast.
Okay, now that I don't believe.
I will go and get the earplugs right
now.
now.
Go get the earplugs.
Okay. Stand by, everybody.
I'm gonna be
filibuster.
So I already thought it was truthful. But then you said earplugs, and now I have to believe that it's truthful, because I was about to say you're lying. But if you can actually pull out earplugs.
I have earplugs. I also have earbuds that I can I'm just listening to music. But here are my earplugs. They are loop earplugs that I pop in my ears whenever I get freaked out.
See, they aren't fly specific, but you will
they're
do
not
that
fly,
if
they're not fly specific. They don't make fly specific earplugs.
Well, I'm just saying. Did you get I want to know your answer. Did you get the earplugs for flies specifically?
Yeah.
Or for flies specifically?
I mean, what else would I need earplugs for?
Because you have anxiety, and a lot of people like to when they're feeling anxious, tune things out. Okay. Or that makes me suspicious.
When I'm anxious, I just go by myself. I don't like to be around things. I bail.
You run.
I do, 100%.
Fight or flight. Flight.
Well, for me, I get freeze a lot, but flight is definitely a hardcore. Also, avoidance. Corey makes fun of me for that one because I just avoid things. I just stay in my room in the dark.
I do that with thoughts.
I do that with thongs. All right, so truth or lie? What do you got?
Here's the thing, is that I want to say truth. Okay. Based on that explanation, but at the same time, you saying that you got those specifically for flies makes me think it's a lie. Okay. Which I'm going to go against my gut and say that it's a lie.
Final answer?
Why are you being so... Yes, it's my final answer. No, it was true. It was true. It was a lie. It happened to someone else.
Oh, interesting.
It happened to someone else. Yes!
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a truthful story. It's too truthful. Yeah. But not to you.
Not to
me. To you.
Yeah.
That counts.
Good call. Wow.
Cell 5.
Yeah, 100%. So with my buddy Scott, that happened to him. He actually has a Bluetooth thing he wears on his neck, and it's got little earbuds that are on retractable cords. Ooh. And he pops them in his ear. He always wears it around his neck at all times. So if there's a buzzing insect, he pops them in really fast. And I did get these for anxiety.
I knew it. I knew it.
I thought this was going to seal the deal. I didn't realize it was going to make you suspicious.
Here's the thing.
I should have gotten my earbuds.
Here's what killed me was the fact that it's like, if it was the truth, you wouldn't have gone up to fetch them.
Why is that?
Because
I was too desperate to prove it?
Exactly. Yes, if you knew it, you would be like, yeah, they're in my bag. No, they're in my bag. And then you proved it. And then because you said it was fly specific, that's what got me. Because, yes, we all have our trauma and coping mechanisms, and perhaps said fly did that. But I know you.
That's interesting.
I don't.
I didn't. I got these for cons so that I can stay out and be social and network when I'm overwhelmed. So before then, it was completely true. I just avoided and stayed in my room and stayed in the dark. But at cons, I can't do that all the time. So that's why I got the earbuds, the plugs.
The loops. Yeah. Fascinating.
I'm very impressed that you got it, but I'm also disappointed that my ploy didn't work.
Yeah. What can I say? I toss. Okay.
Do you have one?
Yes, I certainly do.
Awesome.
So, my childhood home was haunted.
Your childhood home was haunted.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you go ahead? What question?
Was it always haunted, or did it become haunted while you were there?
It was there was always something just like a little bit weird, but I think I noticed it more the older I got.
Okay.
Especially after I left from college and came back.
Okay.
Because like, I'm gonna be honest, during the pandemic, shit got weird. I had like my weirdest experiences. But there was always something about the stairs.
Okay.
That as a kid was really creepy. Like there were shadows on the stairs. Like it was bleh, bleh.
Okay. So was it a specific apparition, or was it like vague collection of things?
So it depended.
Was her name Betty?
No. There was one thing where there were multiple different entities, I would say.
Yeah.
There was the shadow that was on the stairs. And I remember one time when I was like 7, I was playing on the stairs with like a little like swimmer figurine that I had that had a little, what is it, a jet ski as well.
Sure.
My favorite toy. I called it my guy. But I remember playing on the stairs and I was like facing them, and then I looked up, and at the top of the stairs there was this like shadow form, but for some reason where the eyes would have been, it was lighter. And I remember noticing that and then just being like, okay, I'm a go now. I'm a walk. I'm a play somewhere else. I'm gonna go outside where it's nice and warm. Upstairs, we would be running around and playing, and for some reason we would hear like a cat meow, which we didn't have a cat. So that was weird. And then, so what happened when I came back from college during the pandemic? There were like 2 super duper weird occurrences. I guess there was one more that happened to me to my goldfish. I don't know if that was like an actual haunting thing, but it was kind of ghosty and kind of bad. So as a child, this was when I was 13, I had a goldfish named Breakfast. I named it when I was like 4.
And you were just like, I really want some fish sticks.
Well, no, here's the thing is it was either Breakfast or it was Rosie after, or not Rosie, Dorothy after Elmo's fish. But I went, I had stolen the family laptop
Okay.
And I was hiding in my sister's room.
Okay.
And I was watching like Discovery Kids ghost shows.
Okay.
Like a ghost hunter show.
Okay.
And I got really creeped out because I'd turned the lights off in my sister's room. And so I ran through the Jack and Jill bathroom back to my room. And I looked at my fish tank. And my fish was floating at the top of the water. And this is a fish that lived for 9 years.
What inspired you to go look at your fish?
Well, I had
feel his essence leave?
Well, no,
Did he haunt the house?
Maybe it was the fish. Maybe it was the fish. But no,
Did your fish meow?
Maybe in another life.
In another life.
In another life, the fish was meowing. No, the meowing happened while the fish was still alive.
Okay.
No. What happened is I had been watching the ghost show and I got spooked. And so I ran back into my room and my dresser where my fish tank was directly across from my bed. And so, of course, like a child, I dove under the covers. And when I finally tucked my head out, I just looked over and the fish wasn't swimming around anymore. And I'm like, where did my fish go? And I looked and he was floating on top. And I just remember going, Mom!
Mom, I'm hungry.
Mom!
So, were you the only one who noticed the spooks? Or was your whole family spooked?
No,
Were you the haunted one?
So... My sister was like kind of iffy, sorta. But my mom and dad are both veterinarians and they're very much not on the right brain side like my sister and I are.
They're on the wrong brain.
No, they're just very practical and logical. And so they were like, monsters under the bed? No. Mm-hmm. They were like, you're exaggerating. And like I said, I was an attention whore with very active imagination as a child. So they're like, okay, calm down. Calm down. But my sister said a thing one time at breakfast that I think kind of spooked my mom and made her believe a little bit more. And it was when I was 8, I had been talking about the shadow people on the stairs. Because it was scary walking up the stairs because there's shadow people on the staircase. And she said this thing where she was like, don't worry about it. It's fine. They aren't going to hurt you. And I'm like, wait, that was the first time that she had actually said something about it. And I'm like, you know about these things too? And my mom was like, what did they look like? She's like, oh, it's just like a shadow guy, and like, it's just...
And like, it's my boyfriend, so we're fine.
It's just like, you just walk past him. It's fine. You aren't gonna get hurt. They're not gonna hurt you. And I'm like, okay, big sister said it's fine. We're gonna be fine.
It's a lot of detail. And you're very excited to share it all. But I also want to say this is like the plot of a Goosebumps or something.
Maybe. Do you believe that someone could have written this of their own volition?
Yeah. Of their own volition. No, I believe that someone could write it if they were forced. At gunpoint.
Yes.
I want to say false, but I'm going to say true because you would never lie to me. Okay, final answer, true.
So some of those stories were true, but it was not my house and it wasn't my childhood home either. So my house was never haunted.
Okay.
The ghost story about breakfast was true.
Okay.
And the shadow person story came from someone else.
Okay.
But I will tell you, some creepy shit happened in my parents' house when I came back from college.
Yeah.
And those two different stories. So, I have my voiceover mentor is kind of like a magnet for weird, spooky shit.
I have sat in on one of those sessions where it was very fun.
Yes. So my VO mentor is the incomparable Jamie Markey, and so
and I sat with a conversation between her and Lauren Landa, and they were just going off about haunted places.
Oh. Loves talking about ghosts. She has a podcast called Ghoul Intentions with like over 200 episodes that she recorded with Michael Tatum for a few years back. And like she's obsessed with ghost stories and is a magnet for ghosts.
Yeah.
And so we kind of bonded over that because I love spooky stuff as well. So after I think my first Zoom coaching session with her, the very next day, because of course we had talked about it, because I was like, oh, exciting. I walked into my living room and I went to get something and the lights were off. It was like 10:30 at night. My parents had already gone to bed. And in my living room, we had these track lights that were on a dimmer switch. So there were 4 of them on a track, and when you turned on the dimmer switch, they would all turn on at once. Mm-hmm. And when I went, I literally bent down to pick this thing up, and then I notice the lights start to turn on. Mm-hmm. And I look up at them, and they are one by one along the track, slowly getting brighter. Like, slowly. And I'm like...
Have you watched the movie... Have you watched the Korean movie Parasite?
No.
So it won lots of awards and stuff. The last 30 minutes of it, maybe, it takes a really weird turn. Mm-hmm. That's what that reminded me. I don't want to spoil it if no one's watched it. But, like, it seems like a pretty straightforward movie, and then it takes a turn. I'm just like, what? Oh. It was fun, though. I liked it.
I need to look that up.
I'm trying to think where we watched it. HBO or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But the really scary one that happened to me was at 1 o'clock at night. I was working on my VO demo reel, my first one, which I had been working on extensively with Jamie Markey. About to send it in the next day to some agencies and things like that. And suddenly my computer stopped working and it went to the spinning beach ball of doom. So I'm like, luckily I had it on a hard drive. So I went to my mom's laptop, downloaded it onto there. The download stopped working and went to the spinning beach ball of doom. And I'm like, that's sketchy. Then I grabbed my dad's work laptop because I'm like, I've got to get this done.
Yeah.
Couldn't even log in. Spinning beach ball of doom.
Right.
And then when that happened, I suddenly heard a sound that was what I like to call it. Sounded like either a bunch of little girls having a pool party and like screaming, or it was a troop of Girl Scouts being murdered. And I was like, do I need to go outside now? Is someone dying? And it was very, very scary because the entire back wall of my living room at that time was just windows.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. And so I started running around the house, seeing if it was like my parents' TV was on. No, they were asleep, not making a sound. Even the puppy that we had, which woke up at everything, didn't wake up.
Interesting.
And I'm like, this is it. This is it. I'm gonna die. Our house is haunted. Raptured. Oh my God. Like, what happened? And then it just faded away. And I told myself, I'm telling myself this is coyotes so I can go back, and the computer started working again, and it was...
So in my VO career, I started with like cheap equipment and slowly worked my way up. So my middle microphone, I've had 3. My middle microphone was one that was fairly new at the time, and people were raving about how good it was. It was a Cinco D2. I think I got a lemon.
You got a haunted microphone?
Not, maybe. So I at the same time around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and I'm a night person. I don't work in the mornings. I work in the afternoon to evenings. But at 5 or 6 o'clock every day, I would start hearing an old man in my headphones. And I would just hear him. That's it. Just him talking. And I could never really quite make out the words. But I'd have to stop recording because I do audiobooks and I record all day. So I have to stop and wait for this old man to stop talking. And it's only ever happened with the Cinco D2. But I think I was picking up a phone call. Because I think that that mic was just a lemon. Like, I don't think it was shielded correctly. Because, like, if I have LED lights on, it buzzes. But I think I was picking up some old man's phone conversation.
Every day?
Yeah, I mean, like, I talk to my girlfriend at the same time every day when she gets off work. But yeah, it was just like... It was a little freaky at first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's freaky.
I've never heard it before nor since. He was, help me, Christian. I'm trapped in this microphone.
You have a genie trapped in a microphone?
No, I just put it into a case and I never used it again. I got a better microphone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fancy microphone.
I had to sell my blood to afford it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would too sell my blood.
I did. Well, plasma.
Plasma.
Technically, I got the blood back.
Question: how, like, when selling plasma, how big is the needle?
Have you ever had your blood drawn?
Yes.
Yeah, same.
Then perfect. I could do that.
Yeah, I did it for a few months, and the only reason I stopped was because I started to feel kind of gross. And also, too, I had this thing where it was like a special. So if you, if you got your blood drawn consistently, I think for 2 months, you got like a $700 bonus. And I was just like, yeah. And then like after that, the rate drops significantly. So I just like, you know what? I got my $700 bonus. I don't feel well.
Yeah.
And then I got the stimulus check. And that I was like, all right, cool. Let's buy the microphone.
Nice.
Great. Awesome. So that's pretty much all we've got. Thank you all for watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify and Amazon and Google. I do have one announcement. I should have done this up top. Take One is doing a show this Thursday, which is, we're in November 16th. And it is going to be in downtown Dallas at Arts Mission Oak Cliff. Thursday from 8 to 9:30, we've got a set. It's going to be with a bunch of different hilarious comedians. It is called Sounding Off, a Massive Comedy Night. And so, yeah, I won't be there personally, but Danny...
I will be.
And Aaron and Corey will be there. It's going to be a fun night, so if you're going to be there, go check that out. Mm-hmm. I am going to be busy because I'm teaching VO that night. And so my class, I believe there's a couple slots still open. So if you want to learn the basics of voiceover and voice acting, it's a 6-week course. It is, like I said, it's very basic. So if you already learned the basics, this class isn't for you, and that's okay. But yeah, go ahead and you can reach out to me at The Christianaris, or visit my website, christianaris.com, and I can direct you into how to figure that out. Any closing?
Also, make sure, if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to come check out our reoccurring show at Stomping Ground. So, first Saturday of every month, we have our True Crime Night, where Take One does a show, and then directly after that, we have that funny Femme Fatales, completely improvised murder procedural. that we were talking about earlier.
Our next one is December 2nd.
It will be Christmas themed.
Probably. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that in January.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense. A January Christmas theme. But yes. So come see us. Come see us perform live.
Yeah. So to either of those shows. Okay. And where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Erin Noble, except you only use one N because I'm conserving N's. So it's ERINOBLE.
Gotcha.
Erin Noble.
Yeah. And also make sure to follow Toshi. I'm almost done, buddy. Also make sure to follow Take One at Take1 Improv. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or anything, you can email us at take1improv@gmail. All right, everybody. Well, that's it. We'll see you next week. We all love you. Bye. This is where I awkwardly walk away and hit the button to stop streaming.